Yo guys, what's going on? It's Catman227 here, and I'm back with some more gameplay breakdown on Junkensteins Revenge. Now, at the time of making this video, Mcree's name has not yet been changed to Cole Cassidy. So, for the sake of this video, I'm still going to be calling him Mcree, because that's what the in-game chat and what the in-game name currently says his name is. So, I'm just going to call him Mcree, and then whenever his name is properly changed, I will start calling him Cassidy instead of Mcree. So, I'm just going to throw that out there so that way you guys know when that starts happening. And I'll make more announcements on that later. But that's not the topic of today's video. You guys want to know, how does Mcree perform and how should you use him in Junkenstein's Revenge? Now, let me tell you something. Mcree is not personally one of my favorite characters. He's probably not even in the top 5. However, he is insanely good, not only in multiplayer, but I feel like his skills really shine brightest when he's in a PvE situation such as Junkenstein's Revenge. And that's mostly because you can stand where I'm standing right now, and you can just cut him down. Mcree alone can guard not only this bridge that I'm standing on here, but also down in the center, so where the burning cart is. You literally can lock down both of those entrances for the Zomniks. And he is just like Hanzo that I mentioned in the last video. Mcree is multi-purpose, but he is easily a much better option than both Soldier and Hanzo. However, in my opinion, if you're going to run 2 DPS and 2 healers like we have here, then you definitely want a Mcree, because he's really good at popping rip tires, whether that's Fan the Hammer or just regular fire. Now, I want you to keep something in mind with Mcree, is he's really good to be paired up with Hanzo, because Hanzo has a really long range. So if you're going to run a Mcree with double healers, your next DPS should definitely be a Hanzo, because long range Mcree, not good. See, about the limit to your range, see how I'm struggling to kill that Zomnik right there, and I'm hitting those shots and it's not doing a lot of damage. That's because he's just outside of the damage fall off range. So that range is about your limit. Like, that's about as far as you're gonna do decent damage with. So from where I'm currently standing to where Reaper is, or just underneath him down on the ground where the burning cart is, that's about your range limit. So kind of keep that in mind if you're going to choose Mcree. He's not going to be pulling off those super long range shots. You can still go for the rip tire shots if it's like up on this ridge part right here, up on the high ground, or if it's in the middle. But if it comes from the other side, like the opposite end of the map that I'm standing on right now, you're never going to hit it. It's almost impossible. Just let the Hanzo get it, because Hanzo has long range. So medium range is Mcree's just sweet spot, and of course close range as well, because Fan the Hammer. But no Zomniks should pretty much ever get past you if you're standing up here, and it's a really good way to use High Noon, because obviously if you're standing up here, you can see down throughout the entire battlefield. Now, I'll get on to how to use High Noon in a second, because he's got some pretty sweet combos. But let's talk about the flashbang first and get that out of the way. So, everybody knows that the rolling ability, where you roll out of the way, we know that that ability will instantly reload your weapons. So what I would do is, whenever a boss comes out, you can flashbang like a Roadhog, and it'll stop the healing animation. So whenever you see the monster starting to heal, you flashbang him, and it stops his heal. Then you can Fan the Hammer into him, roll out of the way, and then Fan the Hammer again. And then just keep doing that combo on him until he's dead. Honestly, when it comes to Mcree, I know in the last video I said that Hanzo should, in certain situations, be doing this, and sometimes be doing this. But McCree is one of those characters where it's like there's not really a set time when you should be crowd controlling or going for the bosses. Hanzo, there's a very specific time that you should be doing that. Now this combo right here, you can see I just cleaned out that entire field, as well as getting nano boosted. So nano boost is the best thing. If you have a McCree that has high noon, do the nano McCree high noon combo, because it's just amazing. And if there's like more than one boss, especially if you're doing endless, this is going to cut them down just beautifully. So let's just say, for example, you have 2 Roadhogs, 2 Mercies, 3 Summoners, and 2 Junkensteins, and maybe a couple of Reapers. What you could do is nano the McCree pops high noon, and then boom, everybody's dead day. He is the best for killing bosses. But if you think your team can handle the bosses, because remember, the bosses don't do damage to the doors. So Junkenstein's bombs do not damage the door. Roadhog does not damage the door. The Witch clearly doesn't. Like, just bosses in general do not damage the door. Only the Riptires and the small Zomnics do that. Not even the blue Zombarators damage the door. So he's really good for crowd control, but also really good for bosses. So what I would try to do is get the nano boost on the McCree, and then pop high noon, then try to shoot, like wait for a perfect moment to shoot a bunch of Zomnics with a bunch of bosses. Get all of them at the same time. You kill 2 birds with 1 stone, basically. As opposed to Hanzo, who has to focus specifically on one or the other, McCree can do both at the same time. So, if you've got an overload of Zomnics, and you've got a shitload of bosses on the field, literally all you'd have to do is pop high noon, and boom, 1-shots. So, it's really good for cutting down the Witch. It's really good for crowd control, and he's just a really good multitasking hero all around. Like, McCree is just amazing in this mode, and I don't really see a whole lot of people use him. It's kind of degrading, actually, because if you want to do endless, he has so many options for you to work with. You know, he can kill Riptires, he can kill both Zomnics and bosses so fucking easy. He can just absolutely destroy them, especially if he has a nano boost. So if you see somebody go McCree, or if you go McCree yourself, you should probably have an Ana on the same team as that McCree, because it's going to help you out on the long run, especially if you're doing endless. And if you want to do well, no, I will. Before I forget, I want to stress something very hard here. When you're playing endless as McCree, make sure you are up on this high ground towards the end of the match. So when you're reaching, like, you know, the final couple of bonus waves, you're definitely going to want to be on this high ground right here and have a nano boost ready to go, because there's going to be a lot of bosses, like at least 5 to 6, maybe even 7 Roadhogs, and there's going to be a Mercy for each and every one of them. There's going to be 4 Junkrats. You're going to need a nano boosted McCree to cut down all of those people. You almost don't have a choice. But since there's going to be so many Roadhogs, you need to be very cautious, because if you get hooked, then that nano boosted high noon is going to be gone. So, and you're going to lose it, because if you get hooked while you're channeling high noon, well, that's just wasted. And what are you going to do with the nano boost? I mean, you could just, you know, fan the hammer into him for the rest of the duration of the ability, but I mean, it's not going to do nearly as much damage as if you would have pulled off the high noon. The high noon, you could basically one-shot everybody. So, I don't know. if you're gonna roll with Mcree, you need to be very cautious of Roadhogs, because, like I said, it's gonna fuck you over in the long run, and you may not have enough time to kill all the bosses regularly. So make sure you're up on that high ground to do the nano boosted high noon, so you can actually cut down all of them instead of just, getting screwed over. But anyway, that's been Mcree. If you guys have enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe, and check out my second channel in the description below. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Later!